and BC, I think I had BCRX was the other one, but it gapped up a lot at the open, and I just didn't want to chase it. So, are you in a trade right now, Peter? That's what inquiring minds want to know.
I got myself stopped out a couple of times, so I decided to call
And
it a day.
I think I had BCRX was the other one, but
Whoops.
it wasn't a lot particularly easy.
I always forget to do that.
Well, the open when the open was, it looked like we were going to sell off. I mean, I thought it provided an opportunity for to short just about anything at the open, but and then it was really having trouble picking a bottom here on the SPY. It was kind of annoying me, and so of course, by the time I gave up, it decided to find a bottom.
Let's see.
So yeah, because I dropped off around 11 o'clock, and that was about the same time that bottom got put in. I knew there was going to be a bottom there somewhere.
Yeah, I just got to get the right screen. Got to get the right screen sharing going on here. Sorry, guys. Here, let's do this.
So ICD looks like it's kind of warming up again here.
Share our chat room in its entirety with our scanners and stuff. Brian, if you want to talk to us about the markets overall, as you normally do on a Monday, do you want to share a screen against that?
We could do a little bit of chat here. I mean, I think latest thinking, is that as I kind of mentioned on the weekend, as a possibility, we may be just getting into an area where we're just going to be trading in a range.
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned in my video, we have this epic battle going on now with the reality of the economic situation in the global economy, and the damage that's been done, and it's been pretty extensive, actually, as I'm sure everybody can appreciate. Not just the actual economic damage, but the damage that has been done with psychologically a lot of people. Confidence in, and I was reading an article about how this whole pandemic may create a culture of super savers. So you get you live paycheck to paycheck for, I guess, if you want to call it, years, and everything seems to be going along fine, and then all of a sudden this comes along, and you realize maybe you should have been putting some money away for a rainy day. So it's an interesting idea, and I think it actually has some merit. I definitely think people are going to be more sort of oriented towards thinking about maybe they should be having some money put away for whatever you want to call that, a rainy day. Yep, that's right, Cindy. Yeah, I was talking about Nugget. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that would make sense, right? Because once you have experienced, not having those reserves in case of emergency, it does tend to change opinions. I'm not sure. This hasn't been prolonged enough for people to change behaviors, though, is what concerns me, right? Like, Brian, when this has happened in the past, when we've gone through world wars and depressions, we're talking about, years, right? And when
that's true.
And when so many people lost things. In this case, you might have lost money, but the majority, I have to generalize here, of course, but the majority of people have not lost their cars, their houses. If you had like a full-time job, you haven't lost that. I mean, for the most part, but there are some people, of course, that are going to have, lost their jobs. Unfortunately, those that have lost their jobs are the least able to save because they tend to be working paycheck to paycheck. So I don't know. I mean, the
True.
macroeconomic theory is one that's we can only see really because this is such an unprecedented type of event. So
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, has this been painful and prolonged enough to make some people change their ways? I mean, we're still a long way from being out of this in by any measure.
mm-hmm.
So looks like SPY wants to maybe push higher here. And why not?
Let's take a look.
Now,
All
one
right.
thing that, Jamie Dimon's going to be on deck before the market opens, and he's already been pretty brutally, I'm going to say, honest about how he thinks that this is going to lead to a pretty significant recession, which isn't.
President Trump tweeting now, White House news conference today at 5 p.m. Eastern time.
I'll just mute our Benzinga feed so it doesn't interrupt us.
Yeah. So we'll see what kind of comments, what he has to say before the market open on his comments. Of course, everybody's saying this earnings season is going to be, in terms of the actual numbers, is going to be about the most irrelevant earnings that we've earnings calendar that we'll ever have. Just because it doesn't really reflect, it's looking backwards. It's looking at the last, the 3 months ending March. And of course, we really didn't get into any other real damage till mid to late March. So it'll be some of the commentary, and like I said, it'll be interesting to hear what that commentary ends up being. So from Jamie Dimon, and I think there'll be a lot of people that will be listening. And it does look like ICD is going to try to break out here. It's really right at a high that happened about an hour ago.
ICD, our low float trade of the day, huh? Because it's.
I managed to get a good trade in on that one.
Did you?
Yeah, it was my. I just got it just before it. I got out of it just before the first halt. It was a scalp. Again, it just looked like it was going to go higher.
Eamon actually. Eamon got a good trade on that earlier, where he bought in, he held, and then finally he was able to take it off there. So let's see, where did he get in? He got in below VWAP. Oh, did he get this big? Yeah, because he sold at 11, so he really had to hold it for a few hours though.
Yeah, I'm just let me see what my trade was on
here. He got in somewhere over here, just around noon, I think it was, around 9:40, 9:50, and he had to hold through all of this chop. Finally, it popped up. He said, "I'm holding to 11," and he did good. He managed to get out at 11, so good for him.
Okay. Well, I got in at 9:60 at 9:50 a.m.
Let's go back to the morning.
It was 9:50 Eastern time, so 20 minutes in, and I got out at 9:98. So I got about 40 cents on that one.
Okay. That was this morning, though, right? Yeah.
And that was just before and I got out literally just as they halted it. I could tell it was going to get halted.
Mm-hmm. Good for you.
So I think Tesla's had a monster day. I remember we were talking about it. Somebody was talking about it earlier. It's getting through 600. It's now at 640. NIO is a little bit of the Chinese, one of the Chinese electric car companies. It's up 10% too, almost. Interesting.
can see on my shared screen, I was, well, at least on YouTube, sorry, you guys in the room can't see it, but I was, I tried to go short on Tesla. I got stopped out, and then I got a little partial and then stopped out again. So it looked like it was going to reverse. The 1 minute chart actually looked pretty good, but it had the double top. It was bringing in the moving average cross. I was actually really happy with my trade, but yeah, it still wanted to move up a little bit. So technically, it was a solid trade. It just didn't work out, as you can see. So that's
Didn't pan.
that's the way it goes sometimes. The other one is Netflix. I don't know if you've looked at, Brian, but Netflix has had a very strong day.
Netflix is up 7.7%. Yep, very nice move. Again, sort of a stay-at-home play.
I tried. I was actually wasn't disappointed with my trades there, but I traded it long and short because I traded it long and then it stopped me out. I said, "Fine, if you want to go short." I waited for my moving average cross setup, and it failed me on that too. And I got out a break even, saying, "Yeah, it's not breaking down." So I had a loser on the long and then a break even on the short, and so yeah, my trades this afternoon weren't working out for me.
Hey, Brian, Peter.
I'm saying all this for our friends on YouTube, so because we've gone over a lot of that in the room, but haven't necessarily for those just joining us online. I hear Mike has now joined us. Excellent.
Welcome.
So, you can see me.
Just got done finishing up journaling.
Oh, excellent. You can see me on the camera, guys, and then the voices, the disembodied voices you hear, as always, Brian and Mike. Welcome to the party.
We're at the party.
This
is the party.
Now, Brian, if you wanted to, let me know whenever you want to share a screen, and if you wanted to, you usually do a good job of going over some charts and some market indices. I'll hand it over to you. The camera is optional if you wanted to use that as well.
Well, it's
Meanwhile, AMD, like AMD was just the bane of my existence. It's look at this, like I completely Christmas treed it this morning. I just, for whatever reason, I was not seeing it right, and I just Christmas treed the heck out of it. You can't even figure out what my trades are. Basically, I can tell you they sucked.
Well, that's one way to put it.
I'll get rid of this steady. It's probably confusing. Remove the volume by price. Take that off my charts.
Yeah. It was a tough day all around to trade.
After that initial sort of sell-off, it definitely became tougher to trade.
Yeah, I found that, and I sought that out because I wasn't sure how deep that sell-off was going to go, and then I thought we were going to bounce back and continue, but we didn't really, especially not in the things I was watching, like AMD, like I just mentioned. It just decided to be nasty with me. So that's the way these days go sometimes.
It is.
Well, Jay, yeah, you can see someone again. That'll be up to, I think Brian will be throwing his camera on and then his screen up.
I am not a crook.
We get camera over here.
Not a crook. Yeah.
You need
MU
to,
gave me trouble too all day today.
You need to be coming off a plane or something, and
yeah, exactly.
that's where I always picture that, is him leaving Air Force One or whatever. Was it called Air Force One at the time? Anyways, whatever.
It might have been, yeah. Well, SPY is continuing to move higher. Here, I'll share my screen if people want to keep watching the scanners. I guess they don't have a choice if you're on YouTube, right?
They do not. They will watch what I give them. But you're right. Everybody in our room, you can flip to the top right corner of our room and either pick Brian's name or the scanners, and then you can watch whichever screen you want. But Brian will be talking to his screen, obviously.
Let's just we'll do a quick recap as to where we are here. start to look at the transports, you can see here we've had a bit of a down day on the transports. Of course, that sort of goes, I guess, a little bit with where the markets are right now. But again, kind of expected this kind of price action today. We had a bit of a topping pattern here with the with that doji. Volume, I would say, a little bit on the light side, so that's, I guess, encouraging if you're a bull. Let's take a look at some of the 10-year. Really, nothing much happening with the yields apparently today. Let's take a look at the Dow again. We had a bit of a pullback today, but we're well off the lows of the day. That's I guess the encouraging part. Again, volume really low today. Not a lot of buying or selling. Sort of an absence of buyers, I guess, if you want to call it that. RSI rolling over a little bit here. What's going on here? Come on, stop that. Weekly, we will kind of skip over. And here's the small caps. Again, kind of same story. Light volume, pullback day, well off the lows of the day. RSI pulling back a bit. Yeah, Europe, I don't know that it's really that much of a influence. The U.S. markets, some of the other markets kind of take their lead from the U.S. You can see here, Qs have actually had a good day. But, this is the 200 moving average. Again, really, right now we're 20 minutes into the close of the day, and the volume again is very light. But this is a constructive day for the Qs. Up on the day, up 1.8%. And the SPY, again, same story. Actually, pretty decent volume on the SPY by the looks of it. Is that right? No, it's not showing that volume. Or is it? It's kind of weird. Again, we're well off the lows of the day. We're down. We're only down by 1% on the SPY. Well off the lows of the day. And let's take a quick look at the dollar. Kind of hanging in there. And the VIX. VIX started up higher and came back lower. Let's take a look at some stuff here. Netflix got to be one of the COVID trades. You can see here what a breakout this has been. I think this is an all-time high. Let's take a look at the monthly. Yep. Well, is it? Let's see. High 423.21. High, getting pretty close. This was back middle of 2018. So there are some very interesting moves going on here today. SPYs keeps going higher. Ooh. And the Tesla right up at this moving average here. That's the 50. And this would probably be, yeah, it looks like this would have been probably an area that might have struggled to get through, but 600, 6 plus level, 600-ish area, just plowed through that on not great volume, okay volume. RSI continues to go higher. That's a nice move too. I don't think we're going to get a sell-off going into the close. This is exactly what I kind of expected. I suspected that we would start to, that after all this selling was done. Let's go back to the let's take a look at the 5-minute. Yeah, I suspected this is where we opened, and you can see we got a big sell off here. Boom, 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 and then a V reversal. And then we had some pretty choppy price action. That's probably why a lot of people had some challenges trading this today. But now we're breaking out, and this is almost what I expected would happen. We'd find the people would come in and start buying this thing back up here.
Well, it's certainly looking strong, isn't it? It's what do we
Yeah.
got here? We got about 15 minutes, a little less than 15 minutes. I mean, if it is going to drop, it's not going to drop significantly. So I'd be surprised if we closed lower than sort of 274.50-ish. But I think we'll hold up here. Who knows?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
just
so
seemed all
I'm just
day.
looking.
It just. Oh, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I was just looking at some of these levels for you. We can just continue on here. I mean, this was an area you would have thought it would held, and it lost that. So it kind of came down to this level here before it found some support. So there was a level eventually where it did find some support there. So anyway, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, and it just seemed all day when I was trying to trade. Anything that looked like it was going to go short as it was setting up, it would just at the last minute break pattern and the market would just start to shoot up all around that 23.25 level or 27 273.25 level.
Yeah, I had a daily level marked there, and I honestly don't know where I got it from, but exactly 273.25. And like I mentioned, look at how many times it either used it as resistance and then support.
Yeah, we look back at that. I think that's in like June 5th or October sometime that we found that.
Is it?
Because
Oh,
over
that's
the
right.
last week or so, it's been flirting with that level. If you look at the last week of March and then.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me flip to that screen. You can see that level we have marked right here, 273.25. Yeah. Is that where we found it, Mike? It was off of. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
We did go back, eh? We went back on the daily a little ways.
because it was last week, it was respecting that level too. And we're like, where is this level from? I found it.
Right. Oh, yeah, here it is.
Usually somewhere. Yeah. So Squares had a nice run. Well, look at, I told you ICD was going up.
Back to Brian's screen. What is ICD up to? Whoops, ICD.
Look at now.
Yeah, high of the day now.
Very nice.
Put ICD up on the screen for everybody. Look at that.
Yeah. Let's just see here. It's just had a really good day.
Oh, it's still going.
Yeah. So it's really getting overbought on the daily. Wow. Let's take a boo here in the 5 minute. Yeah, nice one. All right. Well, that's my view on this in a nutshell. We'll see where it goes today. We'll go back to the scanners. And yeah, CCL is coming back up too, eh? Everything's coming back up. Square is kind of breaking out here. Look at this. We just touched the previous day high on ICD 13.
Yeah, right after about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, everything's just slowly been grinding its way back up.
Yeah. Wow, I like my MyOV play worked out real well. There was a lot of this was one of the ones they had a lot of insider buying. This Sumitomo was have been in there buying this thing, and I kind of like the way that was setting up.
Oh, I'm busy talking to myself, saying I'm back.
We knew what you were thinking.
Yeah. Just mention to anybody on YouTube that might be thinking of joining us. I've got on the screen some discount codes. If you just want to join us temporarily, we've got the code premarket24. You can use that code. Will give you just a 1 week intro package. It allows you access to our chat room. You can see what it's all about. Do it all day, and see how whether this room is something that would benefit your trading. If you're ready to join us as a lifetime member, you can get 40% off our lifetime membership. Now it's only if you pay sort of the one-time payment option, but the code is Earth Day. So use the code Earth Day, all one word, at checkout, and you get 40% off. And I'll mention this again at the end of the show. All right. So
Right on.
back to the last few minutes here. Brian, as you mentioned a little while ago, we do have some earnings starting. Finally. Feels like it's been a long, sort of slow limp into earnings season. We'll have to see how it goes, though, because we got AMRN, which happens after the close today. Did you mention that? I can't remember, but
I didn't see that on the on Estimize.
looks like, according to Earnings Whispers, they announce at 4:05 today. So
Okay.
that should be good.
Okay.
And then the banks start tomorrow morning. I know you were talking about those, so that'll be and Johnson and
Jamie
Johnson.
Dimon. Yeah, like I said, I'm not expecting a lot of feel good stuff from Jamie Dimon, so it'll be interesting how the market takes all that. So we shall see. We shall see what happens.
Yeah, we shall. Thanks, Juan. My golden pipes. I have to. Maybe I have to bring some poetry or something. I can read you guys poetry in the afternoons.
And you would do that because you're
Just-
an artiste.
Well, no, because Juan says he loves my my golden pipes.
Oh, okay, the pipes. Yes.
Roses
absolutely.
are red, violets are blue. The markets are up, and I am too.
Ooh, look at ICD, and ICD's going through 14.
14.
Wow,
Really?
man, there is a pop-a-rama.
Let's see what. Let's take a peek at what ICD.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, you're right. Just touched 14. Let's throw this on. Actually, here, let me
Kaboom.
bring it on the screen here for you guys. ICD.
That was crazy.
Yeah, look at that. Ooh. It's pushing through 14 here. You know, it's funny. One of the things I was thinking about this weekend was, we're not always setting a good example on YouTube, Brian, because you and I both have a habit occasionally of touching our face. We should be these days. You're not allowed to touch your own face.
What? Am I touching my face?
No, I do it a lot though. I'm always
okay.
I'm always touching my face.
You're not the only one, Peter.
Well, but there you go. You're touching your face now. See. So, but you do because you stroke your chin, you do whatever, and I'm thinking, it's one of those things that you don't think about it. Now I'm very conscious of it when I go out of the house, but because we're doing this from our house, I feel safe in here, right? My hands have been washed like 800 times since I was last outside. So.
Yeah, there you go. I need to stop touching my face. I know I make a point of it when I go into a store,
Yeah.
but
A friend of ours sent a great video of their daughter over the weekend where I guess they've just been talking about hand washing and been washing their hands so much. And their daughter is 1.5, I don't know, something like that, and she's sitting in her high chair and she's rubbing her hands, she's going, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your... Well, her hands are covered in ketchup. right? So she's
Oh, wonderful.
so the mom is like just videotaping it, going, right idea, wrong substance. But it's just, but she's rubbing it in. That ketchup is getting a thorough rubbing. She washed her hands for more than the recommended time. I'm like, hey, look, she's got the habit. You just got to substitute soap with with ketchup. So
She just got to get the you got to get that
start
right. Come on. Well,
all right.
okay. So what do we got left? We got less than 4 minutes left. We've had a bit of a pullback on the SPY after this pop.
Let's see what AMD is doing here. AMD's just sort of moving, pulled back here, moving
Just
sideways.
Just gonna keep hanging on to my gold trade.
Yeah, look at Nugget here. So right now it's not doing much, but Brian, you've had a good run on it today.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, they've had that for a while now. Held that. And I've just added to it.
Yeah, let's see what Netflix is doing into the close here. Oh, it broke 400. I missed that. We were waiting for Netflix to see if it would break 400, so it did finally get over that mark. But pulled back now from it. And what was the other one? What are the other ones we were watching? We were watching Tesla. It's at 650 now.
New gold. Yeah, new gold looking good. ICD pulling back. There's nothing for short on not shortable, apparently. Yeah, well, I think again, people, it's a matter of where people want to put money. If you think of some of these funds that have to be long, they can only have a certain amount of cash. They can't be short the market. They're all just long only funds. So where is a long only fund going to put money? You've got to look at trades that are going to be sort of, not say anti, but something that is going to be somewhat insulated from the whole virus thing. And Netflix is as good as any for a stay-at-home trade.
Yeah, Netflix is probably doing better because their cash outflows, I assume that their cash outflows for all of their production activity has probably stopped, but I don't know, maybe their contracts they have to keep paying. Maybe it's actually going to cost them more. I don't really know how that works.
Well, that's an interesting point because they're probably their production costs are probably they may not have any reason.
And they were spending billions on different series and different productions. So I don't know actually how those contracts work, but
I wonder if their subscribers went up during this time too.
Yeah, I think they're going to be pretty careful about announcing that. I noticed that they've been very silent about it, but certainly their utilization would go up. Whether the actual number of subscribers have increased, I know a couple that decided to sign up over this period, but that's about it. That's anecdotal, of course.
So let's see, I was backing up here on the chat a bit here.
Yeah. People were mentioning, I was checking out AMRN while we were talking because they're saying it was dropping into the close here with earnings forthcoming after. And Microsoft.
Nice.
Let's check out Microsoft.
Lou Reed bought 10 shares of Nugget at $5. Well, there you go. See, it's a double.
There you go.
It's more. That's a. That was 5,000 shares. And there's the bell. Ding, 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 ding.
That is the bell, indeed.
Yeah, my entry on the first round was about 6.
Let's check this out. Nugget, and you said your entry was, where was that? Oh. Down here. Right at the beginning of April?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. That's a nice swing trade, Brian. Well done, and you've got tons of room.
Yeah, well, like you said, I'm thinking of this as going to be a longer term trade. I really am pretty good about the possibility for gold to make some new highs. So we had not a bad day. Sold off at the open, made back almost half of what we, or more than half, I guess, of what we gave back. So a down day, but not a really, not going out on the was I guess, if you could say.
Yeah, indeed. Mike, I know that you said you were finishing your journaling, so good for you. How was your day? Did you have a good one or not?
It was actually a great trading day, just not the outcomes I wanted out of it.
Yeah.
Executed well. MU was a fight all day long. So
MU did come back and get into the.
yeah. MU had a beautiful setup for me. Level 2, everything I wanted, and then the market bounced. And stopped out.
Where you really need to keep an eye.
Yeah, it was right at about 1330-ish, so 130, kind of where it was leveling off, made that kind of double bottom on the SPY's 5 minutes. And then that's when the market started grinding up higher. So
Yeah, Chris, I never did do a poll today. I don't know that after hours we probably don't have a representative sample, so lots of people tagging off here, I notice. So we'll have to.
So you can see, like just looking at the energy space. I mean, geez, the USO could not really didn't do much of anything. That's the oil, and the energy space still a little finished in the red here today. But I just think energy is going to be dead here for a while. And yeah. Anyway, interesting day.
Indeed. Let me call up AMRN since we're expecting some activity after hours here. Let me actually just kill this.
Yeah. Well, SPY, if I remember, what was the SPY volume here? Did it really give? Yeah, it was really, like I said, like I noted earlier, the volume on the SPY was on most of the indexes today was very muted compared to sort of previous.
Mm-hmm. The RVOL on the SPY was 44%. So yeah, that's considerably low.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I mean, the fact that we closed down, but well off the low of the day on low volume, obviously not a well. I mean, it's I guess it's somewhat encouraging that we finished well off the low of the day. I wouldn't say there was a lot of conviction of people coming in and buying,
No.
but there wasn't a lot of people and investors and willing to sell either. So there you go. Again, I my short-term prognostication for where we're going is I think we may be stuck in this range. We've got this fight going on. The Fed spitting out as much cash as anybody wants. I guess you were saying some people are seeing this as the end of capitalism. It used to be too big to fail. Now it's nobody fails.
You made me laugh there a second ago, Brian, because when you were saying that, I thought you were going to go with the more medical and reliable prognosis, but instead of making a prognosis on the market, you decided to go with a prognostication, which is much more much more diffuse, probably more appropriate. I can prognosticate too. Look, I've got my magic 8-ball.
Well, yeah, you do. You've got the magic 8-ball. Strange.
Yeah.
And somebody else in the room ordered. I remember in the pre-market we talked about that. So
yeah,
someone else had ordered a
somebody
8-ball
mentioned they got delivery of their own Magic 8 Ball, so it's
So
you
what
know.
is Jan? I'm not sure what the question is. What's trading time after we talked about what time does the market open and close in the pre and post market? I believe the market opens at 7 a.m. Eastern time, and I believe it closes at 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, exactly.
Now we're having fun with words in the chat. That's always good.
Yeah, fun with words.
Fun with words. All right, I'm just
All right,
waiting to
well,
see if AMRN announces here to schedule. Should be any moment now. Well, Alistair, yeah, we were talking about earnings earlier. That tomorrow morning we should see some good earnings on a couple of things that we like to watch, like the banks and Johnson and Johnson. Be interesting to see how Johnson and Johnson reports their sales, because this quarter would include sales to the end of March, I would assume. And that would be the front end of course, almost 3 weeks of coronavirus impact. So, it'll be interesting to see if they report sales are down or not, because they might not be in their case. Most of their stuff, are pretty much staples, right? So,
yeah. Interesting. The banks did not have a very good day today. The financials, and I'm guessing there's some heartburn about maybe what they're going to report tomorrow. Not necessarily the earnings, but kind of sort of guidance stuff. So,
TMD.
interesting to see what comes tomorrow.
That's not a. All right, something I've never traded here. TMDX just reported, so I thought I'd call it up. They only traded 100,000 shares today, so that's why I've never heard of them, really. Never mind.
Big
That's
volume there.
Yeah. That's something I'm gonna
DAL.
watch.
What's some of the
Fidelity National Information Services is reporting right now, FIS. Let's take a peek at that one. I should actually, guys, I'm going to share my screen here so that, here, let's get our friends in the room. The opportunity, since our scanners aren't going to be doing much, I'll just share my screen as well. 1 second.
So what is the ticker? Is Fidelity? It's a Fidelity something or other.
FIS is the ticker.
Okay, it doesn't. It's funny. It's not showing on Estimize. We had for the 13th. We had we got one event. So later in the week, we really start to pick up. We got 20 earnings events. Thursday, 22. So you got on Wednesday, you've got Bank of America, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley. You got some big hitters there, for sure. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with DAL. Somebody bought into that, but it's going up.
Whoa. A bunch of birds are flying by my window. Really big ones. I think they must be crows. It's my window. The window of my office faces like the house next door, right? About, I don't know, 8 feet away. So for it to fly through there that fast, it's running the gauntlet between the houses.
It's I think it's an omen.
It's an omen, is it?
You feel like you're living in a movie.
Yeah.
An Hitchcock movie.
Like a Hitchcock movie, The Birds?
Yeah. I like the I like the I was watching recently some snips from the Mel Brooks one, High Anxiety. They did a parody on a bunch of Alfred Hitchcock movies through that movie. It was a great movie, and they did one with the birds where the birds were chasing him and crapping on him.
There's
Exactly.
some takeoff movies out there that are so bad they're funny. There was one I don't know what it's called. Somebody showed me where it's supposed to be. It's sort of like a takeoff of the birds, where these birds are attacking, and it was so bad. It was just it was so bad it was good. You know.
Yeah. Well, you have to watch High Anxiety. It's a really old movie, but it was actually pretty funny. Everybody's got a lot of time on their hands, so no shortage of opportunity to catch some good flicks.
I haven't watched many movies actually. I find I've been pretty busy over this period. So, well, I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on. I'm not seeing any news whatsoever on AMRN. They're supposed to have announced at least 5 minutes ago, but I'm not seeing anything. So,
Well, yeah, I don't know.
assume they've been delayed for some reason. I guess we'll find out by tomorrow morning. AMRN isn't normally a great trader either, but on news, it's worth taking a look and seeing what it's going to give. Whoops, why did that not work? There we go. So, and the stock price isn't moving, so it doesn't look like there's been an announcement that I've missed. So, whatever's going on, there's just silence.
It's AMRN.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
just
I've got-
going sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really trading much. So,
Yeah. Well,
well, I'm gonna drop off here, and we're gonna say I'll say good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, to everybody out there. Hope you had a decent trading day, anyway, and we'll see what happens with some of these. Like I said, a lot of the earnings reports are before the market opens, so we'll see where this takes us tomorrow.
indeed. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, right?
Yeah.
It's the most non-relevant earnings reports that I think we've ever had.
That's true. It probably will be.
Yeah. So have a good evening, everyone. We'll Corey, you're talking about my book. Okay, cool. Well, hopefully you'll find it informative. So everybody, have a great, like I said, have a great rest of the evening, and we'll see you in the morning, bright and early, and 8:30 pre-market show starts. Yep. Peter, Michael, have a great rest of the day.
Thanks,
You
Brian.
too, Brian.
Take care.
Okay.
And yeah,
Hey,
guys,
always
if you
supposed to-
haven't, don't be afraid to pick up a copy of Brian's book.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. How to swing trade on Amazon. Isn't this where we ask if we're wearing pants, or
Is it? Yeah.
was
No.
I don't know. Wasn't that
No.
the big joke about all the Zoom video, all these Zoom meetings?
Yeah, or nobody's wearing pants.
No one's
And they
wearing
forget
pants.
to turn off their cameras before they walk away.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Or you get your boyfriend or girlfriend or significant other walking behind you in the middle of an important meeting.
Yeah, well, we're all getting used to a less formal environment, right? As everybody's required to work from home. So it's a funny thing because, I mean, for me, the video conferencing and the requirements, like I've been doing it for 25 years now. So it seems old, but Nortel was probably early on that stage and in doing it when I used to work for Nortel Networks. But yeah, it's good to see everyone else finally catching up.
Looks like AMRN just reported.
Oh, did they? Oh, yes. Look at that. The stock moved anyways. All right. So what was the report? Let's see.
It's really it's just your typical aftermarket action. All right, guys. I got to get going, so we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Thanks, Brian.
See you guys.
Have a good one.
Okay. Cheers. Cheers, everyone. Yeah.
I don't see the announcement. The stock price moved, but I don't really see any news yet. It does say earnings are scheduled. Earning news. Yeah, that's today. I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah.
Whatever's going on. Apparently, I
Yeah.
can't see it.
Nobody wants to put out their earnings at the scheduled time.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. I'll make one last mention for our friends on YouTube just before we go for the evening here that if you are interested in joining our trade room, we'd love to have you. It's more than just a trade room, it's a full community. We've got forums that you can access with tons of material, training material, live webinars and seminars. We've got some coming up later this week. And I mean, we have them pretty much every week. But if you're interested in joining us, you can join our chat room and on trial using the code PREMARKET24. It works any time of day, so you can use it if you're interested in giving us a try all day. I think you'd find it valuable. I think you'd like it. We got a great group of people. It's not just the moderators, it's all the people in the room. You guys are awesome. You know who you are, Chris and Mac and David and Joaquin and Jennifer and Art and everyone, Mark, anyways, all the people whom I'm not mentioning. But if you're ready to commit lifetime, as I mentioned earlier, you can join for 40% off. Just use the code EarthDay, all one word, EarthDay, and it's the one-time payment option. So you need to pick the one-time payment option for the lifetime membership, and you get 40% off the retail price with the code EarthDay. So with that, Mike, thanks for joining, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
Yep. Thank you.
Take care,
See
everybody.
everybody tomorrow.
Yeah, have a great night.